Hello, thank you for clicking on today's video. So today we're going to have a little bit of a discussion, and while we're having our chat, I thought I would repot the LC Sunset Cosmic Fire crossed with LC Spring Fire Lynette #1 that I received from the Orchid Supply Store back in October, because I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but there's an itty bitty root getting ready to start right there, and now is the best time to do that. And also I'm going to be potting up my Dick Smith Paradise. Hopefully I can save this piece. The smaller piece, I ended up throwing it away. It just completely dried out. So she's been sitting on this little moss pad for a few months, and it looks like right here they keep trying to develop a root, but the root keeps drying out because I think it's just too far from the moss, and I'm not very good at keeping this dampened. So I'm going to put it in a setup that is going to be the medium fir bark, perlite, and my handy dandy standby sphagnum moss. I know a lot of people don't like sphagnum moss. I love it. Once you learn how to use it properly in your environment, you'll love it too. But in any event, so let me get this stuff kind of situated, get you down onto the table, and let's repot and chat. So I do have the hydrogen peroxide for the Orchid Supply Store repotting, just because this is not my media, and I just want to make sure that everything is nice and clean. Take these rocks out that I put in here to kind of help stabilize that stick, and I will post the video when we got this lovely lady here. Just going to take all of this off. So I have a neck problem, and I did 2 years of physical therapy, and for a year of that physical therapy I did injections. The first injection worked rather well. The second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, the others didn't do much. They only lasted for a couple of weeks. And my C4 and C5 vertebra are trying to fuse together. So I am going to be scheduled to have surgery on December the 13th. And for the first 2 weeks, I cannot move my neck at all. I can't twist, I can't bend, which now that I know that, I've been like noticing. Take a day and notice how much you twist your neck and bend over. You'll be surprised at how often you do that throughout the day. Okay, let's see. Quite a few roots on here that have desiccated since I got her, but that is okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to pull the velamen off so that I can use the strands or the dead roots as anchoring. This way I don't have to, try not to stake them too much. Anywho, so at least for a couple of weeks, can't do any filming. And the last few weeks where I have not posted, I have been getting my girls ready. So all of my African violets are now in self-watering systems, except for 2 of the smaller ones. But the pots don't dry out that quickly, and those are an easy fix. I don't know. I am worried about some of the girls. I'm not going to lie, but at the end, excuse me, at the end of the day, I have to think about me. So if I lose some of the ladies during my recovery process, then depending on what I lose, I may replace it, or I may just not. I know that made no sense. If you've ever had surgery on your neck, any tips would be great. And I'm one of those people, I don't really think about eating. I can go all day and just do. And then at the end of the day, think, oh my goodness, I haven't eaten anything all day. But now I'm like, I wonder when I can start eating again. I wonder what I can eat. Isn't that weird how one does that? This is an old growth, seedling growth, that she lost the one leaf. It was a bifoliate. She lost a leaf. I just went ahead and took that off. I do have my cinnamon here, but it's such a small little spot. I may just spray it with hydrogen peroxide and hope for the best. And I have my scissors here. So I am going to cut back this one here because that root is desiccated up to there. And then I need to be very careful right in here. So I'm going to leave this because I'm afraid if I try to cut this, I'll end up damaging that little bitty root that is trying to come out. All right, well, that is all I'm going to do to that one. I'll get that little piece of bark off of there and see. Yep, and I say that and then I keep messing with it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and spray. Like I said, this one I am spraying with hydrogen peroxide because this is her first repot with me. And, you know, I heard somewhere that the hydrogen peroxide doesn't do anything. It's just a mental thing, and then other people swear by it. I do it because, you know what? I've never had any of my orchid roots die off from it, and I've never had any bugs after using it on new plants. Shade, you make your decision on what you think is right and what you think is wrong. All right, so where do I put that? Let me just put it right here. So I've already got the fir bark and there's perlite in there, and I'm having a texture issue today, so I'm going to wear a glove when I get ready to mix this all in. But for now, I'll just use this skewer and kind of mix things up. And I've done this, so I have a couple of videos that I filmed prior to everything kind of happening at one time, and I'll post those at a later date. But one of the things that I posted was, and it's a orchid failure video, and then a follow-up to that was this one. I repotted the Potnera Dick Smith Paradise crossed with the Horus Maxima because she just was not growing any roots and nothing was going on. And she is in the same setup that I'm going to put these ladies in. And within a week, she started root growth, and now look at all the roots in there. And this was done about mid-November, so maybe 3 weeks ago. But look at that. Look at all those lovely roots. She's even growing roots off of older growths. So I'm hoping, oh, and noticed earlier today, she is actually branching off one of her old tired roots that I put in there with her. I'm hoping that the same thing happens with these two. So now Miss not Horus Maxima, this is the Potnera Dick Smith right here. She's got beautiful, beautiful, like yellow with like a pink splash almost, or a magenta splash. If I can find the picture of when I got her, because I did get her in bloom back in, it's been so long I can't remember, 2021. And she was in bloom then. She's been repotted several times trying to get some growth on her. But if you look at her, she's a climber. So she probably would be a really good candidate for a mount. However, I want to get her started in a pot. And once she builds up some strength, I will eventually transfer her to a mount because I think the climbers just do better on mounts. All right, now, how am I going to pot them up? Well, let's put our little glove on here. So I will try to post videos as I can. And then on top of that, of course, it's the Christmas season. And then my son, who has been in Okinawa, Japan for, well, since 2018, is coming home. He is now in the process of heading to Denver. So we'll want to obviously spend some time with him. And it's just going to be a hot mess, probably until February, guys. I'm giving myself till February to get my life together. So I will try to do as many videos, even if they're just kind of like pointing the camera and talking about things, not really being able to show you guys too much, as I can. Not promising anything, but there it is. Okay, so I'm starting off with a layer of the fir bark at the bottom. Move that out the way, put that one there. And that one is still fizzing, so let's start off with the Dick Smith. So I am going to put her a little bit lower in the pot. I'm not going to fill the whole pot up. And then I'm just going to put a nice big ball of moss right in the center. And then while I'm holding that moss in the center, I'm just going to put a little bit of media around it to kind of, this way it doesn't kind of get that algae buildup, because I'm not going to put them all in decorative pots. Some of the, one of them will go back in a decorative pot, the other one won't. And the Dick Smith will go back into her little subdued lighting where she's been sitting. But then I'm just going to set her right on top of that moss setup. Get that off of there. And then we're just going to fill the rest of it with bark. And I am going to kind of bury the canes in the back, but they are not touching the moss. They are sitting on bark. But I am going to make sure that these new growths have that bark up underneath them. And it looks like I am going to have to stake her. So that will be fine. I'll see what I can do here. Let me press, and then I'm pressing it down so that it kind of secures the plant a little bit better. Like I said, the plan is that she will take off very much like my Paradise Dick Smith over there, crossed with Horus Maxima. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of this moss, and I'm just going to put a very light layer right up underneath both. Well, there's 3 new growths, but I think only 2 of them are gonna do anything. One looks like it's already on its way out. And then just top that off again with bark. Kind of cover it up and hold that moisture in a little bit longer. There we go. And Patricia, I would like to thank you for your input. I always appreciate your feedback. She and I emailed a little bit about my situation. And she said something, and it made sense to me, because I feel the same way on some of the people I watch when they just kind of go away and then just reappear. And it made sense to me, like I said, because I feel the same way. Sometimes when I'm watching someone and then all of a sudden they don't post videos for a very long time, I get concerned. I hope that everything is okay, and oh, I wonder what's going on. Are they going to post again? That kind of thing. So I thought about it for a couple of days, and it's kind of why I decided to go ahead and spill the tea. So, and just to make it clear, I'm not looking for sympathy. I know this is a routine surgery. People have had it for many, many years. The doctor that is doing mine is one of the top spine and brain surgeons here in the Colorado area. So I am very confident I am in very good hands. I'm just, I'm worried about the girls. I know that's weird, but my life is like my hobby, my enjoyment, everything I enjoy doing revolves around my orchids. I'm not a social person. I really don't like being around a lot of people. I like a small group of people when I get together. But when I come home every day, I look at the girls. There's always something to do with them. When I wake up in the morning before I go to work, I mess with the girls. So they've become my children. Since my children are all grown up, now these are my kids, as we like to call them. So I don't know what I'm going to do with life, is kind of what I'm saying. All right, so I will put this here. And then after I get done repotting the Aussie, I am going to leave these in a soak of just plain filtered water, 0 ppm. The pH is about 6.9, 6.5. And I'm going to let them soak really, really well, because I do know that the fir bark is new and dry. But I was trying not to stake, but I'm going to have to stake, aren't I? So let's see if I can get this middle one just tied really nice and tightly so that it does not move. Let's use this one and keep it very secure, because I think that's what actually really helped the Horse Maxima and the Potnera Dick Smith establish the roots is because that thing is in there snug as a bug. I mean, it doesn't move. Let me show you. Look at this. Look, I can shake it and it's not going anywhere. Look at this. Like, they don't go anywhere. So I may have to, and I keep saying so, I apologize for that. I may have to add some more stakes once I'm done because I didn't bring any more with me. Didn't think this through. There we go. Let's see. And then maybe the small one here and just snug him up in there like that without breaking that new growth. There we go. All right. Yeah, I'm going to have to stake it a little bit better, but we'll do that after the fact. Like I was saying earlier, if you have had this kind of a surgery, any tips and tricks you can give me would be great. Like as far as like getting in and out of the bathtub. Like you have to bend. So even if you're just taking a shower, like there's some bending in getting your leg into the bathtub. Brushing your teeth. Like you bend over to spit out, right? And I bend over to brush my teeth. So I'm thinking, am I going to have to get a bowl? You know, those of you who are in my age group, remember back in the day when you went to the dentist and they put that little bowl under your mouth so that as they were working on you, would just kind of drool into it? I'm thinking maybe I need to get like a big bowl like this when I go to brush my teeth and just put it up underneath and just, you know, and then slobber on myself, wipe. I don't know. It's just, I just feel, and I was going to add the mycorrhizal fungi and the fertilizer, but I am going to do that after I see some roots growing. Then I'll just lay back I'm pointing like you guys can see what I'm talking about. I'm just going to move back some of the media, put the fungi kind of on top, rinse it down, and then once the roots get a little bit longer, then I'll add the fertilizer. Because there's no point in putting that in there at the moment. Well, the fungi, it doesn't matter because it's still going to create that environment. But there's nothing in the plant right now for fertilizer. Like this one here, I'll probably add fertilizer probably January, February, early springtime. Because these roots, even though they're growing, they're not absorbing any water. So they're not going to pull up any nutrients. So there's no point in wasting the fertilizer or possibly burning those new roots going in there. All right, so same process. Let me get a little bit more media in here. And this one I'm putting a little less at the bottom just because I do have these roots that obviously are dead, but for anchoring, and they'll go down a little bit further. So let's get our moss ball ready. And this is dry moss that I'm using. And when I say a moss ball, I'm literally just, it's very gently putting in there. I'm not like squeezing it and putting it in there. It's in there very loosely, just again, right in the middle. Oh, let me show you guys something real quick with these pots. These are amazing. I love these pots. First of all, I love these clear pots. Again, Orchid Supply Store. And everything that I'm using, again, is from the Orchid Supply Store. As always, their link will be in my description. And if you want 12% off of your order, go to orchidsupplystore.com. Use coupon code TRISH at checkout in the coupon gift certificate area, and you'll get your 12% off of everything. And you can use it more than once. And yes, even if I'm not posting videos at the time, that code will still be good. I did talk to Ken already, and he said everything is kosher. But look at this. This comes with this juicy cone right in the center to allow for airflow at the bottom. And there's holes also. I don't know, can you see there? Let's see if I do it. Yeah, there's a hole right there as well. Love that. Absolutely love that. All right. So same process. We'll just put this in here. And if you're still with me, I appreciate it because I know I'm not as, well, not that I'm always overly excited, but I'm also not as engaged as one would normally expect. And then I'm just going to fill in, again, keeping my mind that that new root is on this side. so that I'm not messing anything up. I am definitely not trying to lose my one and only new root coming out. But I know I'm not going to have time to wait for that root to develop longer because my surgery is in like a week. So I wanted to go ahead and get this done now. Let's see, where is it? Find it. Where? Oh, did I break it? Please tell me I didn't break it. Nope. Okay. Whew. All right, so I just have to remember it's by this old root here. So let me get on this side here and make sure I push it down nice and firm. And then put a little bit, again, moss over here to kind of help encourage root growth on this side. And what I did with this one is I soaked it in CalMag. I only gave it about 50 parts per million, not very high, but just enough to kind of, because it only has a few roots. I noticed that the roots I put in there with it had already desiccated, so I knew there weren't a lot of roots in there to absorb anything, so I didn't want to go overboard with it. But she also has that new root, so I wanted to make sure to give her something to work with. Let's see, push that down. Yep, it's on that side where my finger is. So. And you can also use your media to kind of help stake. Like if you have a piece of bark that's like a long piece of bark and it's maybe a little bit thicker than this, you can just slide it right down the center and just kind of help for bracing. That's kind of what I've done with this one. All right, so now this is where my new root is, right? Well, I don't think you can. Yeah, you can. There it is. So this is now where I need to be extra careful with what I'm doing. So we'll put some moss in that area again to help create that humidity right up underneath it. Leave your tricks and tips of how you kind of encourage new root growth on a struggling orchid down below so that we can all kind of learn from one another. All right, let's see. Be very careful here. Press right there. Right there is the root. There's the root. Okay. And then I'm being careful not to cover up the root with any media because it is currently in the air and I don't want it to dry out, but I do want it to find its way down into the media, and that's why I put that moss there, because that moss, even though it's covered with bark, will create a little bit of humidity that should kind of permeate up. All right, now what I'm going to do is these rocks that I had used before for bracing, I'm just going to use them again. I still may have to, all right, so that one there. I may still have to put some stakes in here, especially on this new growth, because it does wiggle quite a bit. So I'll do that again off camera and then uncover, there we go. And then I will come back and show you guys the final product once we are done. But this is kind of where we're at right now. So I am going to stake, I'll move this. I am going to stake this old growth. Well, it's the newest growth, the latest growth that the roots are coming off of, just to hold it steady so when that root does start growing, it's not getting damaged by being wiggled around. All right, I will be right back. Okie dokie. So here we have the Potnera Dick Smith Paradise. So I did take some of the clips that have these nice big round openings to them. And because these canes are so small, I was able to stake it. And this one here is Velcroed on there because it was a little thicker. So that one is nice and sturdy. And then as is this one, I just took that new growth, stood it up, put it off to the side, clipped it, and now she barely moves. So also, again, Patricia, I'm stealing your idea because I like to hit these bamboo skewers because I'm not paying attention. I like to put one right on the top, like, oh, let me put this up a little bit, sorry guys. I like to put them on the top now so that I can visually see that, and then this will keep me from bumping it too much. And then of course this one is the higher one, so we'll just put a nice blue one on top. Plus it just makes the little grow space look so pretty whenever you have a lot of green. These little pops of color are just so precious, just so precious. Matter of fact, I need to do that with this lady, and those had dragonflies, so I think I'll do a butterfly on the Horse Maxima Dick Smith. There we go. We'll put a pink one on that side, and I'll put a blue one on this side. Again, just to kind of add that little pop of color whenever you're looking over at all the green. Look at that. You can just see that little pop of color. Kind of brighten your day a little bit. Well, guys, I appreciate you sticking around, especially if you made it all the way to here. If I sound a little, well, I'm sure you understand. Wait a minute, you guys are my people. You're my tribe, right? Because you're like orchid people. I've moved some of the orchids that I know are not going to make it without getting water for at least 2 weeks, if not longer, to a level area so that I can at least have someone pour water in a bowl. I can soak it or direct how that's done. Any thoughts? Any kind of workaround for how to take care of those that can handle a little bit of a drought but don't like it? I've also, my little automatic sprayer, I've decided, I can at least, spray them down during the day, because I do have the ceiling fan going on here in the living room, and then with the heater on right now, everything has been drying by the end of the day. I've tested it on a few orchids that if I lost them, I wasn't going to be too upset, just to test that. So that is one thing I plan on doing. And then also maybe just spraying, since I have the shelf covers on my grow shelf here, spraying that and kind of creating some few minutes of humidity, not very much. But other than that, I can't think of anything else, because my mounts, I'm not going to be able to get to them. Everything I do have on a mount is drought tolerant, minus my 2 Tolumnias, which I do have a plan for those. I'm just going to put them kind of down here, hang them on the shelf itself, so I can get to them rather easily, and it'll be a lot easier. Just kind of take them off the shelf, walk them over to the sink, pour some water on them, let them kind of drain, and hang them back. The others, and I may do it with all the mounts, but those are the 2 that I know really need watering every day, if not every other day. They don't do well with drought, especially now with the heater on. And that's the only thing that I can think of. So if you have any ideas, because you're my tribe, you guys, I'm sure there's someone out there who's gone through something similar, maybe not a surgery, maybe it was just something else that had to be done. And I do have my daughter and I have my husband, and they're going to try to help, but I like to do things for myself. So if there's anything that you can think of that I can do for myself, and remember, I'm going to be wearing one of those stupid neck braces, and that's another thing. I don't like things around my neck, so that's going to be fun. I don't like being still, so that's going to be fun. Oh, and I'm not going to be able to talk, I don't think, for like a couple of days, so that's going to be fun too. It's going to be great for my husband and my kids, but that's going to suck for me. That is all I can think of at the moment. So if you have any ideas, comments down below, I appreciate it. And then as soon as I can, we'll do an update on these 2 ladies, as well as the Dick Smith Pottenera Horse Maximum mixture here, to see how long those roots have gone. And like I said, I did the video where I did do the repot on this. I'll post that and post the orchid failures video. And I have a couple of other ones, and they're going to be, it's not going to make sense because you've seen this already and then that, but I'll do what I can. But to be honest, YouTube's not going to be my focus primarily. And it's not that I don't care about my channel and that I don't want to do these, but I've got to take care of me and the girls and make sure that I, stay healthy, whatever that means. And more importantly, they stay healthy. And it'll be surprising to see if my voice changes, because from what I understand, they move all your stuff out of the way to get to the vertebra from the front of the neck. And one of the side effects, of course, you have to read about the side effects. One of the side effects could possibly be a change in your voice. I wonder if I'll come back with a better voice. We'll see. You guys have a wonderful day. For those of you who pray, believe in a higher being, any positivity you can send out in the universe on the 13th will be greatly appreciated. See you guys when I see you.